私を呼んだかい、子猫ちゃん。にゃあ。そうにゃ。
Good day, everybody. Silver Octopath here, and the unit coming this week to Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent is the 5th Cait Sage, Feintz, the Warrior Cait Sage of the Ultimate Tower. So, what does Feintz do now that she has finally joined the playable roster of COTC? Her class is, naturally, she is the Warrior Sage, so she is a warrior. Her role is that she is an AoE tank / physical AoE dodger. And what that means with her special abilities is that Feintz can force all AoE attacks to hit only her and spare her other allies. She can also stack AoE physical dodges to take no damage from that type. Her preferred weapons would be Brilliant Sword if using to DPS as she lacks Init Cap up, otherwise Fortune HP Swords for HP if using her to tank AoEs, as any non-AoE hit she cannot dodge, or if she takes magic hits she obviously can't dodge those, and so HP to not die is very good. Preferred accessories would be damage cap / P attack and damage up if you're trying to use her to DPS or sub DPS. Otherwise, tank gear like HP and passive defense up accessories to help her survive if using her to AoE tank is always going to be good, because no enemy does pure AoEs usually, so having the ability to survive the other hits is very important. For her passive skills, her basic passive is at the start of turn. If she does not have any AoE physical sidestep stacks, gain 1 stack of AoE physical sidestep. The 6-star evolution will actually make it so where she'll gain 2 stacks of AoE physical sidestep instead. And as a note about AoE physical sidestep, it is a unique stackable physical dodges that only dodge AoE attacks. Single target / random target physical attacks will still hit. These do stack alongside normal physical dodge that dodges everything. The AoE physicals, I believe, will be used first if it's an AoE attack, and then the others will be used if it's not. Otherwise, she will get hit if the only dodge stack she has is AoE physical. Her first 1-star passive is that when she spends 3 BP, grant herself Focus for 1 turn. Focus is that while in front row, force all enemy AoE attacks to only target self instead. Her 3-star passive is that when she swaps to the back row, grant the front row 1 stack of physical sidestep. Her TP passive is that at max HP, grant herself Dead Aim. The TP level 2 enhancement is that she will also raise her crit multiplier of self to 1.5 times, granting herself 25% more damage with her Dead Aim if she has max HP. The TP2 level 2 TP2 priority for this is unfortunately low, and you might be wondering, well, it's more damage. Well, the thing is, she doesn't really struggle to cap, and she lacks cap up. She does lack self-potency, but it's not like it's super hard to cap with her if you are trying to use her as a DPS and giving her potency. So just getting more damage is, in my opinion, not worth the TP2 mats when much more important uses come in the future. Onto her skills. Her basic hit, she has a 1-hit AoE sword that exploits spear and fire. If she has 2 or less physical sidestep stacks, gain 1 stack of physical sidestep. This is normal physical sidestep, and this is the only way she can get normal physical sidestep in her entire kit. It's not really worth using necessarily, but just wanted to point that out that this is different than AoE physical sidestep. She has a 3-hit single target sword that exploits spear and fire that inflicts 10% sword resistance down for 2 turns. Then she has a front row 20% physical attack magic attack up for 2 to 5 turns. Then she has a 2-hit AoE sword that exploits spear and fire, and if she has 2 or less AoE physical sidestep stacks, gain 1 stack of AoE physical sidestep. A 3-hit single target sword that exploits sword and fire. Power is increased by 1.5 times if the target has a sword res down debuff. If she has any type of physical sidestep stacks, it becomes a 4-hit single target instead. Her 3-star skill is a self-counter physical / elemental attacks for 3 to 6 turns, and then when hit or she dodges an attack, her counter will be a 1-hit single target sword that exploits sword and fire and inflicts 20% sword resistance down for 2 turns. Her 4-star skill is a 3-hit AoE sword that exploits spear and fire and raises the debuff limit of active sword resistance down to 50% for 2 turns. If self has 2 or less AoE physical sidestep stacks, she will gain 1 stack of AoE physical sidestep. Her 5-star skills are first a self-offensive skill double cast for 2 to 5 turns, which cannot be extended by accessories or passives or anything like that, and plus 30% physical attack / sword damage up for 2 to 5 turns. So this is a very good skill to use because it does give her double cast. Then she has a 4-hit random target sword that exploits spear slash fire, and the power doubles if the target has a sword rest down debuff. If self has any AoE physical sidestep stacks, then it becomes a 5-hit random target instead. And then her TP active skill grants herself a 1 to 4 stacks of AoE physical sidestep. The TP level 2 enhancement is it grants her 3 to 6 stacks instead. The TP2 priority for this I would say is actually mid instead of low, just because if you're actively using her as an AoE tank, then this becomes a lot better, because then she's granting herself a lot more stacks without having to burn as much BP necessarily. So if you are actively using her to AoE tank, then this might be worthwhile. Probably not, that's why it's only mid, but it's worth mentioning. Onto her EX skill plus ultimate technique. Her EX skill has 1 total use, which is unlocked from turn 5 onwards, and that's why it's bad, because if it was unlocked right away, then this could actually be very useful, unfortunately. It is a priority AoE taunt for 1 turn, plus self-undying, plus focus for 1 turn, and grant self auto-revive 100% of max HP. Also grant all allies HP regen for 2 to 5 turns. I know that I said it's bad because it's unlocked late, and that's true. The reason it's unlocked late is because the idea is that you're deeper into a fight, and then an enemy's going to do like an ultimate attack or something, and then you use this to basically take the ultimate attack all on herself, and she can't die because of undying. That's why it exists. It just would be better if you could use it whenever, and not only turn 5 onwards. Her ultimate technique is a support class ultimate, and it's called Feintz de Chat. I can't speak French, so I just probably butchered that, so I apologize. It is a priority AoE taunt for 1 turn, plus self countdown of 1 at the end of countdown, which is the end of that turn. Perform a 3-hit AoE sword that exploits sword and fire. The power increases by 2.5 times if self has any AoE physical sidestep stacks. At ultimate 10 and 20, the power just scales to be stronger, no other changes. At ultimate level 20, it has a 40% starting charge, and gains 40% charge per BP, 80% with AU, 4 BP to fully charge, 2 BP with AU. The 200% gauge activation is Back Surge. Can perform this ult before paired allies action that turn. AU priority this is the only ult that can actually attack from the back row currently, but you cannot use the taunt part of it if you do so it kind of depends on how you use her. I probably would AU her before Awakening just for its utility though, because like in pure sword teams, if she's there as like a support and sub DPS, which is not, I mean, she can do a decent amount of hits, so you can help her for shield shaving and stuff too, but yeah, you could use her to back surge on break and get an extra 3 hits from the back row. That's a unique thing she can do that no one else can. Onto Awakenings plus A4 accessory plus TP2 bonus. A1 is extra stats are fine, but she does lack damage caps, so that's why it's not as important. A2 is a luxury, it's not necessary, it can be nice, but it's not needed. A3 is if you're using her to tank, she wants all the HP she can get, because like she's not going to be able to AoE dodge everything. There's going to be single target and random target attacks that probably get through, especially if you're giving her taunts from someone else. And not to mention she can't dodge magic attacks, so you can use her to AoE, absorb all magic attacks, but then she needs to be able to tank those and not die. Her A4 accessory is called Rose du Féline Episte. I'm sorry, I can't speak French, so I know I'm going to get butchered by that. I'm sorry, Nova. It gives 100 SP and 90 physical attack. When in the front row and user has 2 BP or less, grant the front row 1 BP regen. And then when in back row, grant self 1 BP regen. The A4 tier rating for this is actually B tier. It's because the stats are meh, and BP battery accessory sounds really good on paper, but there's so many units that can give BP like candy coming soon that this will not last super long. Plus there's other accessories that do it better. Plus the front row regen requires you to be low on BP, which often only happens after you need the regen most, so it's a solid could maybe add to shard plans in the future if you want, but it's like any startable unit because she's a normal MT. I would never pull for dupes unless you're willing to begin with on launch ever. But it's just something to think about, but I personally don't think it's that amazing. Alright, the TP level 2 bonus for having both active / passive TP2s upgraded is all allies gain 15,000 damage kept up with sword attacks. So this is only useful if she's in a sword team, because if she's just there being a tank, then in teams that aren't using sword, this is completely useless. The TP2 priority, this is low because this is the worst type of TP2 bonus that you can get, unfortunately. So yeah, it's just, again, back-to-back weeks, NetEase, you released new units that nobody really wants to use the TP2 fragments on, resources on. So I don't know, just come on, let's just release the units everyone wants already. Anyway, optimal skill loadout. Skill 1, self double cast plus 30% physical attack sword damage up. This is kind of a must if you want to do any kind of decent damage or shield shaving, because double cast is amazing. Skill 2, 3-hit AoE that increases sword res down to 50%. This is a unique debuff for her. That's currently, like, it's not a unique, like, it can be extended and stuff, but, like, you want to do this after the double cast because it's a 6-hit AoE that then basically does the sword res down twice, so it lasts 4 turns instead of 2 turns. This is really good at getting a lot of extra damage if you use her as a support in sword teams, plus, you know, like a shield shaver. Skill 3, the 4 to 5 hit random target, because when you double cast this and it doesn't need BP to do so, it becomes 8 to 10 hits. Very easy to get, so then boom, 10 hit shield shave, very good. Skill 4, self counter / physical / elemental attacks, plus inflicts 20% sword res down with the counter. This is good because it kind of goes with her active sword res down to 50% thing, so you can get closer to that debuff max. You can alternate in as needed. I would say the TP skill for the AoE physical sidestep stacks is really useful if you're in an AoE heavy fight as needed, or if you're using her specifically for her AoE dodging, then you want to slot this in, because that way she can give herself a bunch of stacks. Unit synergy. If using as an AoE tank, Feintz can work in any team for that purpose. For a sword team, to boost damage via your active sword res down increase to 50% / back surgical damage ultimate. Then for a sword team that she'd be a part of, I would say Dark Knight, which is the best current sword DPS. ODOO is another top sword DPS. Pardes is massive power and easy to use sword DPS. Even slightly lower hit count, doesn't matter. He's going to be capping and doing a lot of damage. Very useful to take along. Aviette is a universal support for any teams plus pets. Shanna for BP regen plus Undying, which is really good for her AoE tanking, plus all allies regen to keep her alive. Maruso EX for weakness exploits plus ult potency buff / damage cap, because the other sword DPSs already have self-potency up, so Feintz might need some help too, if you're going to use her to the sub-DPS. Ronda EX is good in any physical team, or any team in general, for damage cap support if you have them. Edgar for ultimate support and damage cap if on break, because of Chance Maker and active physical defense 50% options. Signa, ultimate debuffs plus active sword res down. And Richard for sword res down, active sword damage buffs, and ultimate sword damage up buff. Is very still useful. Alright, so to pull or not to pull plus overall rating. Finally, another Cait Sage. Unfortunately, they forgot about the last 3 after her. Where's Urshuk? Anyway, Feintz tries to be a graceful fencer type unit to deftly dodge enemy AoE attacks, but strangely cannot dodge normal physical attacks. That strange choice really hurts her potential as a true physical tank. She also lacks a reliable taunt skill and would need accessories / other units to keep taunt on her for non-AoE attacks that she will have to fully eat to tank completely. But in AoE spam fights, primarily physical, she can negate all damage. Unfortunately, this is a niche that is just not needed because Undying exists. You really do not need to tank hits if you can easily be immune to death entirely. As a DPS, she is lacking, as 10 hits isn't quite enough anymore since she lacks both self-potency up and any self-damage cap. She's still super cute and a Cait. As always, pull advice is just advice. Please pull responsibly and have fun your way. Tier 4, free to play, skip. Tier 3, low spends, less patches, also skip. Tier 2, Dolphin, A0 or skip. Tier 1, Whale, A4, AU for your collections. Overall rating, DPS B, Support B, Healing B, Tank S, overall tier B+. Like, yeah, that tanking ability is, like, good, but since it's not necessary, I can't rate her higher than that because it's just, overall, it's such a niche thing, so, yeah. I mean, she's cool, and she's the Cait Sage, so some people just want all the Caits regardless, but it's just, they were so, Square Enix was so close with the good unit here, it's just, only AoEs. If she just gave herself straight up dodges all physical attacks, then she might have an actual use, because then it would actually be like potentially good, kind of like how Celeste does it, but passively just existing like Feintz. I don't know, it could have been really good, but whatever. Anyway, thanks to anyone that watches. I appreciate all the support, as I do try to make this content full-time due to my disability not letting me work normal jobs. So thanks for anyone that watches. Please like and subscribe for more COTC content to come. Please check out the channel memberships if you'd like to see some awesome perks for supporting the channel, including some direct one-on-one help in COTC if you need it. Please consider that. Otherwise, I will see you guys all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and see ya.